My name's Abby, and my partners' names are Solange, Katie, and Max. And the social norm that we decided to breach for this experiment was don't walk directly next to somebody on the sidewalk or the street that you don't know. By violating the social norm, you violate someone's personal space, and typically, when you go to violate a stranger's personal bubble, it's to start some sort of conversation. But for the sake of this experiment, we decided to walk next to them and remain silent. So, we're going to study 4 different groups of people: a college girl, a college boy, a grown man, and a grown woman. And the purpose of this is we want to see if there's any difference in reaction between age and gender, and if being older or being younger has anything to do with how they're going to react to the situation. So the hypotheses that we drew are that when we walk next to a man, they'll either stop, walk faster, walk slower, or maybe walk to the side just so they don't have to walk next to you. And when we walk next to a woman, they'll maybe give you a weird look and do the same thing that the man did: stop, slow down, or speed up just so they don't have to walk next to you. But both parties are going to remain silent and not engage in any sort of conversation.
So during our assignment, we tested our experiment on 4 different categories of people. We did a young woman, a younger man, so both college age, and then an older woman and an older man. And what we found specifically from our tests, Max did the experiment on a younger woman, and she stopped, looked at Max, and actually apologized to him and moved out of the way, even though Max was the one who kind of got unnormally close to her. And then for the young man, he looked at Abby, kind of gave her a look, and then moved out of her way. And then I did the experiment on an older woman, and she kind of gave me a weird look and then stepped out of my way. And then finally we did one more with an older man, and he kind of did the same thing as the older woman, step back, step out of the way, but no real interaction. So we think that the age difference contributed most as opposed to the gender differences, because the younger people that we tested on seemed to have more of a interaction with us, whether that be apologizing, looking at us, there was much more interaction opposed to the older group, where we just saw them kind of conform to what we were doing and move out of the way without saying or interacting very much. So it seemed that everyone that we tested our hypothesis on moved in some way or another. Not a lot of people, or no one said anything to us, asking us what we were doing. They all just kind of conformed to what we were doing. So we really think it just depends on the age, whether they were to actually interact with us and kind of make that, or if they were to just kind of conform to what we were doing.
We observed that there was more of a difference in the reaction based on age rather than gender. Our hypotheses were disproven because the older people changed their pace to move around us so they would not be walking directly next to us, and the younger people gave us weird looks and stepped away. All the subjects we tested practiced high avoidance by removing themselves from the situation. Instead of bringing attention to us for breaking the rule of not walking close to someone you don't know, they altered their own behavior and avoided confrontation. The ontology of this experiment showed the confusion of people when an unwritten rule is broken. The cultural implication of walking close to someone you don't know is that they think you are strange and have a hard time understanding personal space. The communication implication is the stranger trying to communicate with you and others around you that they are uncomfortable with the lack of distance by trying to walk away or looking in your direction.
For repeating the experiment, I think better preparation for testing the experiment is to find or know a place that will be packed at a good time, so you don't go looking all over town or campus looking for a busy spot or when campus could be quiet. Also, when actually acting out the experiment, to really get out of your comfort zone in order to get a reaction, you need to be pretty close to the subject. The one implication that comes to mind would be getting too close to someone and could make them uncomfortable, or there just wasn't much of a reaction, so we would have to wait for someone else the same age or gender